keep you up, nigga. Scenes running through your mind to get this slump, nigga. Even watching close people that been with you. Even positivity can be jutsu. Remember one time these hoes acted like they fucked with you. Whole time was good enough to set you up, nigga. Told your ass to bring weed so you can smoke that. If your ass bring the weed, don't wanna smoke now, but she want me chill, watch me face the whole blunt. Now she wanna get drunk. I'm thinking, dog, I had to drop the flag. Last name Smith, had to go and get out the jam. And she thought that I was sick like it last. For them to run in the crib, the backyard, you never see me again. Just another life of saying Prince. Every day that we spend, your favorite rappers said they make a new hit. I bet they come back and play this again. Yeah. Dog thoughts can keep you up, nigga. Scenes running through your mind and getting slumped, nigga. Even watching closest people that been with you. Even positivity can be jutsu. Remember one time these hoes acted like they fucked with you. Whole time, whole crew didn't fuck with you. One of the reasons why I can't even trust niggas. On the low, pillow talking to your girl, nigga. That's when they knew. When they see that she blue. That's the power you hold. Should've make a good glow. All the girls that they dated, they was no names before. Ain't it crazy when Ardell said all you needed was more? Fast forward 7 years, got me pressed to the throne. All these trials and tribulations connected me to the source. People, they hate it. Now they look at the boy, working on his own image at the age 24. Man, they ass couldn't see. I was born a G. I'm connected to things that other people can't be. While they sitting was hating, sat back and was patient. Wasn't used to negative things with the smiles on their faces. Now they sitting, they waiting. While they sitting, they plot. Try to run in your spot, cause they see you get quiet.
Portions of the following program may be unsuitable for younger or more sensitive viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Remember, the enemy has only images and illusions, behind which he hides his true motives. Destroy the image, and you will break the enemy.
I'm here to tell you tonight that the businessmen, the mayor of this city, the police commissioner of this city, and everybody in the white power structure of this city must take a responsibility for everything.
Can you feel it? Can you feel it?
Luther and I, and everyone in this arena tonight, are unified by the same great American values. We're proud of our country. We respect our flag. Wouldn't you love to see one of these NFL owners, when somebody disrespects our flag, to say, get that son of off the field right now, out, he's fired. He's fired!
Race is when you use your power and influence to subject people into inferiority. Utterances can't be racist.
Look around you, man. They own this shit. They own this couch you sitting on, them shoes you got on your feet, this building, this school, this country, you. We're behind enemy lines, dog.
So you must first of all remember that this system was not originally designed with black people in mind. Right on, and it definitely was not prepared for black people to, in the end, begin to demand their rights and an equal share in this country which they've died for. Right on. Hey, and we definitely are not going back to Africa.
In the church, we used to sing the song, "Good news, the chariot is coming." While you sit here today, knowing that you have come to hear good news, you must realize in advance what good news for you might be bad news for somebody else. What good news for the sheep might be bad news to the wolf.
They say, oh, things are getting so much better for you. In 1849, it was hitting blacks on the head 100 times a day. In 1990, they hit them 48 times a day. Isn't it better? Oh, it's got to be better. You're saying 52 blows.
The only purpose of most black Americans on earth today is to destroy.
I think that's noble. Italians love Italians. When Irish love Irish. But when a nigga loves a nigga, it's an unpardonable sin.
They have blood in their hands. When we say they have blood in their hands, we are not saying him, George Bezos, went and killed. But white people colonized us. They dispersed us. They enslaved our people. They sucked our economy dry. They are still sucking it dry even today. That's white people. Tony Blair, George Bush, Napoleon Bonaparte, Leopold, Adolf Hitler, Benjamin Netanyahu, all white people, they are the same. They are racist and they are full of hate.
I've been waiting for you. You have many questions, and though the process has altered your consciousness, you remain irrevocably human. Ergo, some of my answers you will understand, and some of them you will not. Concordantly, while your first question may be the most pertinent, you may or may not realize it is also the most irrelevant.
Why am I here?
Our world is coming crumbling down. The coons are coming.
You got to understand that white America has an uncanny way of making the victim the victimizer. Excuse me, master, for putting my head in the way of your club. Not that your club is brutalizing my head and putting hickeys on it. My head got in the way of your free swing and broke your shiny stick, and I want to apologize for that.
Your life is the sum of a remainder of an unbalanced equation inherent to the programming of the Matrix. You are the eventuality of an anomaly which, despite my sincerest efforts, I have been unable to eliminate from what is otherwise a harmony of mathematical precision. While it remains a burden assiduously avoided, it is not unexpected and thus not beyond a measure of control, which has led you inexorably here.
There are more connections in the human body than there are stars in the galaxy. We possess a gigantic network of information to which we have almost no access.
Matrix is older than you know. I prefer counting from the emergence of one integral anomaly to the emergence of the next, in which case this is the sixth version.
5 months before. 3. There are only 2 possible explanations. 5 months before. Either no one told me, or no one knows.
Precisely. As you are undoubtedly gathering, the anomaly is systemic, creating fluctuations in even the most simplistic equations.
Control me! I'm gonna smash you to You can't make me do anything like trick!
Choice. The problem is choice.
Let us remember that we are not brutalized because we're Baptists. We're not brutalized because we're Methodists. We're not brutalized because we're Muslims. We're not brutalized because we're Catholics. We're brutalized because we are black people in America.
Because white people made him to be what he is. They made him to look evil, because that's their role, to make all of us black people to look evil and to hate ourselves. I can't hate.
You're a nigga till you die. If you're a poor nigga, you're a poor nigga. If you're a rich nigga, you're a rich nigga. But you never stop being a nigga, and if you get to be educated, you're just an educated nigga.
Well, I'm told every day I'm on air that I'm racist because I call out racism. That is maddening to me, and I'm crying about it because it's crazy.
So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is teaching you and I and trying to tell the white man to get this powder keg out of his house. Let the black man separate from his house. Let the black man have his own house. Let the black man have his own land and his own property.
I thought the bitch was white! Damn it! I thought the bitch was white!
That's true.
I think that white people are so guilty, knowing what they've done to black people, that they feel if the deeds were reversed, they would hate the black man if he had done the same thing to them. So it's actually, it reflects a guilt complex on the part of whites when they ask us, do we hate them? And if you notice, Uncle Sam has formed a habit of going all over the world. He calls it the ugly American, or the American image. He thinks that everybody hates him because it's a guilt complex. And if you think that if you are worried about Europeans hating you, and they're your allies and your cousins, well, naturally it would follow for you to think that Negroes in this country would hate you, especially in light of what has been done to black people in this country by white people.
Now check it out. The white ball dominates everything, right? It knocks the shit out the yellow ball, the red ball, right? And the game's over when the white ball drives the black ball completely off the table.
But you have to see that all of this is hypocrisy.
I love Malcolm. Malcolm called me the Sunday that he died. I was working Basin Street East. He said, Brother Greg, you coming by today? And I said, Malcolm, I love you. And I said, I love you so much, I don't even want to take a chance to be there. He said, what do you mean, Brother Greg? I said, well, I close tonight, Sunday night at Basin Street East. And I said, but I had my wife book me a flight into Chicago at 8 o'clock this morning. And I'm going to Chicago, and I had way beneath my salary, booked me into a college about 10 miles from the airport. And I'm gonna go there and speak this afternoon, and I'm gonna stay there until they tell me you dead. Because I'm not gonna let this government get two of us for the price of one. And I'm gonna call Adam Clayton Powell when I finish talking to you and beg him not to come there. Because today, the United States government gonna get you.
Again, we're having technical difficulties, as I don't know why. But we're going to make this show do what it do, because you know I got to do that. Just trying to figure out why is it doing what it's doing. But we're going to get into it. So, what's good, everybody? And welcome to the Mr. Blows Your Mind show. Those I want to get out first, those who are out here, whether you be a subscriber, what's good, passerby, welcome. Agents, you know you can do what you do. Do what you do, what you do, what you do. Well, again, I'm your host, the Whiteologist, Mr. Blows Your Mind. This channel is to report, transmit, communicate, articulate, relate, decode, unveil, spread the news, whether it be by news, video, website, or quotes from publication. As I articulate these information, I ask that the creator of the universe be present. And in honor of all of my ancestors who created of this land, the greatest people who ever produced in this land, I give honor. Because you know why? The truth don't need no partner. And you know what my motto is, y'all? I'm not going to tell you what I heard. I'm going to tell you what I know. Well, you know, I took a couple days off after being 3 consecutive days. For those who did come out and give a little, give some support to my channel by coming and viewing and giving likes and dislikes and comments. I want to appreciate you. For those who didn't, well, you know, I understand. We got other things to do. And plus, this is the most hated show in the black corner. I'm going to say that again. This is the most hated show in the black corner of YouTube. That's why this channel don't get to grow, y'all. I know some of y'all kind of like wonder how come Mr. Blows Your Mind show don't be getting no views. Well, it's because, you know, ever since I did what I did when I created my first video, which many of y'all became subscribers due to the simple fact that you've seen that is not appetizing for other people. So, you know, when I took a little hiatus off, they gave them the proper protocol and the time to be able to kind of docile out this channel. So I'm fighting to keep it going. Anyway, we're going to get this show going on. As you see, originally as I did the show, it got some technical difficulties off the jump. But I went back and refired it up, and we back on business. Now let's get down to business. You know, again, it's the same old suit, just reheated, right? Every day, things happening, events, situations. Sometimes you're a little bit get caught up in other aspects of life, and some things slide right up under you, and then it's later on that you catch on. It's not saying that people are slow. Just again, remember that scene with Neo when he was fighting all those agents, even though he was the one, but he fought so much to the fact that he had to get up out of there because it was overwhelming. And that's what happens on a day-to-day life when we're living in the conditions and the place that we reside in, that we call the United States. So again, as we understand that in this country, there's two sides to it. As you see the emblem, it says it's always about race. And this is the show, right? It's always the dichotomy between black and white. For a lot of people, I know this, I'm not into the black and white issue because, I think that's very childish. I don't think we're color and crayons. I think this is more about right and wrong, power and weakness. Well, again, teach his own, right? So, as I continue to keep laying out, if this was a case, if I kept laying out my evidence and it becomes preponderance, when do you get to the point of mind that you realize maybe there's something to this? Because see, we'll say that they give you the symbol of the woman with the blindfold on her eyes, and they tell you that justice is blind, that justice doesn't have anything to do with the fact of color. It's just truth, righteous, and justice. But as we're going to get in tonight, as I start off the show tonight, we're going to see, is that is so as they say, or are there exceptions to the rule? Well, let's take this first one here, and let me play it for you, and then I'll come back to you, and then we'll talk about it. See, let's get it fired up. We'll hear it. Here it goes, and get it.
It was hailed as such a coup for law enforcement that they were able to finally bring in Harvey Weinstein and charge him criminally for sexual assault.
Well, this case is crumbling.
It is crumbling. Yeah, everything that law enforcement was being held for is completely flipped now.
And Weinstein's people said this. They said, just watch what happens. And that is coming to fruition now because there are a couple of new things that happened. And the end result of it right now is it looks like the prosecution and the cops are fighting over what the lead detective did because, we broke the story that they've already dismissed one charge after the lead detective is the subject now of an investigation because he allegedly told a witness in one of the claims to essentially not tell the prosecutor that the sexual contact was consensual. So that claim has gone away. And the prosecutors even said, we don't want to prosecute on that one. So now there are two women left who are making charges, and now there's a new claim.
Yeah, Harvey, there's been a prosecutors wrote to the defense attorney for Harvey Weinstein to alert him to the fact that a second woman, her case may be in doubt as well, because the lead detective once again...
Same one. Same lead detective.
Same lead detective has once again allegedly instructed her to delete certain text messages that may be relevant to the case.
And you're saying delete before giving the text, giving the phone to prosecutors.
That's right. And prosecutors, once they get that information, would have had an obligation to turn it over to the defense counsel. They didn't want to, apparently, allegedly, the lead detective did not want to gum up the works and therefore instructed her to delete certain messages saying, look, we just won't tell the assistant district attorney about it and it'll go away. Obviously, it's hard to imagine a case survives two of the three main complaining witnesses actually having their testimony called into doubt because of the actions of the lead detective.
So you have the prosecutors send this letter off to Weinstein's team saying, look, we just want to let you know this happened with the police. This detective did these things.
And the same detective who, by the way, handled all three cases, two remaining.
In the letter, by the way, they quoted, they had a quote that was attributed to this lead detective.
We just won't tell the assistant DA.
But now, what's
we
the
are
latest?
about to. He has come forward. We're about to publish a story concerning his response. The lead detectives, what people are saying his response to these allegations are, and he's obviously taking umbrage with them. So it remains to be seen exactly what the facts are.
So the lead detective is now denying
that he made that order.
He's denying that he's acknowledging that he made the request of the witness to delete certain messages, but he says they were of an intimate nature that were unrelated to the case. We don't know what that exactly means, but you can imagine she had certain text messages on her phone that had nothing to do with the case. She may not want her prosecutors to see.
But it sounds like the prosecutors and this lead detective don't necessarily see it the same way.
They are at odds. The prosecutors have already gone on record sending a letter to Weinstein's attorney calling this detective out. I don't see how you unring that bell.
As to the woman whose case was already dismissed, if it's true that she was telling people it was consensual and that she did what she did in return for an acting job, you know, Harvey Weinstein may be a pig, but if that's true, you don't want to charge him when it does the case doesn't exist.
Not on that one.
Okay, so that was TMZ reporting about Harvey Weinstein. Mr. Blows Your Mind, why are you worried about what these white people? I'm not worried about what white people doing. To be honest with you, that ain't my whole focus. I'm just saying again, as I talked about before, as I talked about justice, right? And about the blindness of justice and how it has no color bearing and how it's fair for everybody, right? Well, we can see that this Harvey Weinstein, right? His cases seem to be crumbling. Now, prior before there was Bill Cosby, right? Or in the process of Bill Cosby, there was this individual here, right? Who was allegedly had did all these things and all these women were coming out and so forth, right? And somehow all that kind of dissipated, right? Then it caught on fire and initially started and it just kind of got a new face. We got a new face. Somebody a little bit maybe more popular. And he kind of took over that spot. This individual just kind of slid in the background like, I got nothing to do with this, right? And there was, women upon women who were out there. Matter of fact, this is, I believe, where the beginning of that movement of Me Too began. And so finally they get a chance to go ahead and seem like they wanted to apprehend him, right? Right? Let's look this way, right? They finally got a chance to get him apprehended. And then they go ahead and try to get get the witnesses together, right? They had the picture. I'll show you that picture, right? They had him where they were having him looking like, how Bill was looking, right? Had him looking like Bill. And, so again, as TMZ was reporting, that a lead detective who were going to the witness that had cases that were supposed to be a reason why they had him, and you see in this picture in front of you, they had him where they was about to have him, to be prosecuted or at least being charged, right? And so what happens is they come to find out that there's an argument between the prosecutors and the cops fighting over what a lead detective had done, right? So one of the charges end up getting dismissed, right? Because the person who was the lead detective told one of the witnesses not to tell the prosecutors about the sexual conduct being consensual. Now, why would a detective be telling a witness how to handle the case if this person is the one who's taken the case before and going to tell you how to, twist it? That's not your job, is it? Isn't your job just to, okay, I'm here to, whether I'm supposed to pick you up and bring you or whatever. My job ain't trying to help you to decide and twist your case up. So right there, shouldn't a flag go up in your mind? As into, why would a detective be telling the witness, one, don't tell the prosecutor And then 2, right, that same lead detective on the second person told them about some evidence to erase something before they was giving it to the prosecutor so that it wouldn't, So again, right, how do you know what I'm saying? You look at this, but then again, you have to say what's really going on here, right? How is it that people are intervening like that on behalf of somebody who it appeared, according allegedly, with all those people who came out, right? Seem to not now, everybody done fell off. So, again, when we look at this, again, I ain't got no horse in that race. The only thing I'm looking at is I'm going to give you the opposition to it, right? I'm going to give you the other side to that. Because it seems like what's good for this goose ain't good for the other gander. And even on the other side, I'm not going to say whether that person did or didn't, but I just see there's 2 different ways in justice, right? So, what are you talking about, Mr. Blows Your Mind? I'm just saying, how is it that somebody who people, who a movement was the catalyst for, all of a sudden everything seems to be like going away. Like nothing never happened. Like everything ended up happening was consensual, right? Now that's between them and them. I get it, but I'm just saying. Now, also just the other day, check this out. Now this happened just the other day. Let me let you see them. First, go on, let me play it out for you. And check this out.
Any comments, sir?
So just the other day, this came up, and let me show you. I just gave you the video to show you that, you know, in that aspect. But let me show you the actual story that came up just yesterday, because that story that I just showed you on Harvey just came up yesterday too. And here's the other aspect to that. Cosby judge shoots down comedian's motion for new trial and reduced sentence. You know I'm going to say that again. Cosby judge shoots down comedian's motion for new trial and reduced sentence. This story was done today, October 23rd, 2018. And this is how it reads. Bill Cosby legal team is readying a long shot bid to get his sexual assault conviction overturned. They're also fighting civil lawsuits by some accusers that threaten to drain his vast fortune. Norristown, Philadelphia, Bill Cosby's trial judge is rejecting the actor's bid for a new trial or sentencing hearing and directing him to file any appeals with the state superior court. Cosby is serving a 3 to 10 year state prison term after a jury earlier this year convicted him of drugging and molesting a woman at his home in 2004. Montgomery County Judge Stephen O'Neill said he did an exhaustive review of Cosby's post-trial motions outlining alleged trial errors as well as the response from prosecutors. O'Neal did not attach an opinion to the order filed Tuesday. Cosby lawyer called the sentence unnecessarily harsh and said the time limit to file charges may have run before Cosby was arrested in 2015. The 81-year-old actor is serving time at a state prison near Philadelphia. His wife of more than 50 years, Camille Cosby, who was leading the efforts to remove O'Neal from the case by depicting him as biased and unethical, issued a statement after the ruling saying it further showed the bias the judge allegedly has towards Cosby. Cosby's explanation for why he wants a new judge, a new trial, and release on bail in the meantime involves a convoluted retelling of a decade-old political rivalry involving O'Neal and former district attorney Bruce Castor, who declined to press charges against Cosby back in 2005 for the lack of evidence. Cosby defense team on Tuesday filed a petition with the state appellate court seeking another review of Cosby's trial and sentences, attaching an affidavit from Castor in which the former district attorney declared that Cosby did not get a fair trial because O'Neal alleged animosity towards Castor, who testified for the defense. I believe that what happened to William Cosby should never happen to any American citizen in any American courtroom, Castor said in the affidavit. Camille Cosby said that Castor's affidavit laid bare the unethical behavior of O'Neal and its effect on the two Cosby trials. The world will now know the truth, her statement said. I offer the affidavit with the abiding belief that the truth is more powerful than a corrupt judge and that my husband will once again be free. Okay, so that was a story that was put out the other day as well. Now, I just gave you the story of Harvey Weinstein. It seemed like his case is falling apart, that everybody who has some allegations are now seem to be, the case is tainted for the simple fact that, again, you have a particular lead officer who seemed to be having the witnesses or having the people who were testifying seem to be doing things that would actually taint the case. So that would mean there would be a dismissal, right? So out of the 3 that he had on him, 1 had already been dismissed, and 2 now seem to be tainted where they ain't going to be able to prosecute. Now, here it is that Bill Cosby, his motion to try to get his sentence reduced, right, and to get his case heard again, they denied it, right? Again, I don't have a horse in this race. I'm just reporting. So I'm just saying that, okay, here was a case that many people who watch and follow that case realize that, again, we know that public opinion can have a lot of effect on people. Now, again, when they brought out the 70-something women that came out that you seen on TV and they had this big to-do on and they kept telling what happened to them, again, I can't say whether that happened or didn't happen. Now, was there statute of limitations in those cases, or the people dragged their feet and didn't do what they did, or was there some protection on behalf of them protecting, the Huxtable, Mr. Huxtable, or protecting that because of the money and all the stuff that he was involved in as in to do with, advertising and marketing? Did they protect that? Well, maybe they did, right? Maybe they did. But the one that they did use, right, when we go back and look at that case, you realize that person, that Constant, right, that case had already went through where they end up settling that case, right, and the money was given. Then somehow they go in and said that they go in and unseal, right, that was said, and then they brought it to the public and said that he agreed, or he said that he gave, Quaaludes to the woman, to induce, to get the sex. But then his lawyer came out, for those who might have said and said that that's not exactly what had been said. That is not what had been said. So we don't really know. We didn't see the document, but this was a conflict of interest. A conflicting interest in behalf of who's telling the truth. But it was already in the public opinion, so guess what? People ran with it. People were regurgitating and saying it, right? Okay, let's say if that's true. Okay. So you have another aspect of it, right? Which is that his wife, Camille, who's been with him for 50 years, decided that, you know what? This judge, right? This judge that was presiding over his case, his name was Judge, I think it was O'Neill, Stephen O'Neill, right? And again, in 2005, the state attorney of that time against Bill Cosby, his name was Castor. And he didn't press charges against Bill Cosby because he claimed at that time there was no evidence that they could prosecute him with, right? Now, the issue that they're talking about with Bill Cosby has to do with O'Neill, the judge that is presiding over his case and who denied him, with the Castor of 2005, that they had issues, right? So they're saying this is a conflict of interest because Castor and this judge had issues with each other. And because he was help representing, he was using these factors against Cosby is what they're stating, right? And so they believe based on that alone shows there's a bias. This is why you hear Cosby White talking about unethical and bias, is because there's something not right, especially when we just said there was no evidence in 2005, but now you got evidence now that you, again, right? So this is what they're laying out. Now, again, when you look at Harvey and then you look at that Bill, it's like, okay, his shit just falling apart, but you got Bill Cosby seeming like, I mean, you know, under what preponderance of evidence do you have other than what was really public opinion, right? And again, I don't have no horse in that race. I'm just saying, you got to look at that. And so we see the two differences in justice between one and the other. One allegedly, right? We got to say allegedly because we have all them women who came out that created that whole Me Too movement. That was Hollywood. And you can't get this cat on nothing. You get what I'm saying? But here it was, we talking about a man he's already 81 years old. And if you was to go somebody who's been living that long and went back in their past, I'm pretty sure you can dredge up all kinds of other shit on somebody. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to say again whether he did or he didn't do. That's not what I'm just saying. I'm looking at the two differences in how one became really the poster with the one who really initiated the shit. But he got the blackface posted as that movement. And, you know, again, there's some funny business going on. But again, I guess as time going on, that will be laid out. Right? So you know how it goes, y'all. Just us. Right? Now, what I got for you here. Now, check this out. I just brought that out, y'all. Take it or leave it. Let me see what I got for you here. Now, check this one out.
To home, we're getting a look at the weapons that two Bartow middle schoolers allegedly plan to use to kill their classmates and then eat their flesh. And the plan thwarted thanks to a robocall. ABC Action News reporter Melissa Mahadeo is live for us tonight in Bartow. Melissa, parents are horrified and concerned at this one.
Yeah, very much so. We spoke with several parents who either picked their kids up early or just plain let them stay home today after hearing those details of a plan that police say an 11 and 12-year-old admitted to making. A butcher knife, pizza cutter, scissors. These are some of the weapons an 11 and 12-year-old brought to Bartow Middle School on Tuesday to allegedly kill classmates.
They wanted to kill at least 15 people and were waiting in the bathroom for the opportunity to find smaller kids that they could overpower to be their victims.
Extra officers were already on campus after another student reported concerns on Monday. But police tell us the plot was foiled only after one of the girl's mother
called in when a robocall said she skipped school.
This is horrific, and if I had children in school, I'd be scared, slapped to death.
Officers found them in the bathroom with a goblet on hand to reportedly drink their victim's blood.
I mean, how can this happen, you know? We're afraid, and she's afraid.
I kind of feel like maybe it might be a good idea just for some of these schools to maybe even put in metal detectors.
Messages appear to show the girls planned the murders and even to kill themselves when it was done.
I'm going to call them small children. They're only 11 and 12. Seriously sat down and plotted to do serious bodily harm to another student at school.
And police also tell us that the girls admitted to being devil worshippers. Now they are facing several charges here, including the conspiracy to commit murder. For right now, reporting in Bartow, I'm Melissa Mahadeo, ABC Action News.
So that was 11 and 12-year-old. Didn't know you're not going to see no picture of that. Right? Who decided they was going to go to school and kill 15 kids. They had the utensils, the knife, the pizza cutter. They even had the goblet. Huh? Ain't that crazy? Now again, I'm just saying. Right? What else could be said, right? Well, yes, who they parents? Who they talking about? They devil worshippers, huh? Right? And guess what? You ain't gonna hear that in the main news. You know they not gonna show you and tell you that, right? You know why they not gonna tell you that either. Because again, you have to ask yourself, how does 11 and 12-year-old get to the mind state that, I mean, again, as I've said in earlier and previous videos, where I talked about the mindset that most of this of the United States garner most of our learning besides that school is in front of that television, right? So again, when you normalize watching Friday the 13th, you know what I'm saying, Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you know what I'm saying? You can watch all kinds of gang killing movies and cop movies and monster movies and, you know, just all that, you know, shit, just gory ass shit, and you become desensitized and it become normalized. Why wouldn't we have more than this? And this aspect, I don't see it being more of a melanated thing. I'm not saying that melanin people don't do, you know, sometimes heinous and crazy shit. But this shit here, you knew when you heard that story, you didn't need to see no picture, did you? You know, sometimes there's just some stories, you don't need to see no picture. You know who it is. And you could tell in the energy and the demeanor of the people who were reporting, they hated they had to do it because they know that looks bad. Like, what? I mean, what's in the mind of 11 and 12-year-old who got that? They're talking about they were going that day to do some sacrifice. That, you know what I'm saying? Like, this can't be the first time they either done did it or been in the company of those who do that kind of shit. You get what I'm saying? So they trying to play out, well, they're kids. No, not when it's our children. We don't get labeled they just kids. They become predators and all that other shit, right? So I'm just saying, it's kind of funny that, again, that's not going to be main media news. You're only going to get that on certain places, and one of them is here on Mr. Blows Your Mind show. You know, when you come here, most of you get here, everybody else going to talk about it later. So, again, 11 and 12-year-old going to school to kill up other children, to drink blood and do sacrifice, and say without equivocally of a doubt, we are Satan worshipers. Huh? First thing they should have been doing is going where? Should have been going to somebody's house. We need to go over there and see who these people is. You understand what I'm saying? All right, so let me, what I got here? Let's see. Do I want to take the quick 2-minute break? I'm going to take the 2-minute break, come right back, y'all. You know I got to do this. Take 2-minute break. Don't run nowhere. Now, again, we're talking about that justice, right? The difference between the two. Now, we see that story there. We did hear that in those two, 11 to 12-year-old, possibly some first-degree murder, but and they didn't do anything, so I don't know how you're going to charge that, but again, they're going to need some kind of help. We're going to need, again, that's the beginning of some they're going to be the beginning of something if you don't do something about it. But, so, again, check it out. How about this? Let me show you this. Another story that I ran across. It's not long, but let's check it out.
2 inmates in court for procedural hearings decided to make a break for it. Look at this.
Oh my gosh.
Perhaps thinking jails were tougher to break out of than courthouses. Handcuffs and all, Cody Howard and Tanner Jacobson bolted from a courtroom in Washington State. Wow, he even made it down the stairs. Get this. And then the judge joined in. At one point,
grabbed him.
The defendant face planted. Ouch. And then Judge R.W. Buzzard, love that name, managed to tackle one of the suspects and held him down. And the other inmate made it just a few blocks before he, too, was caught.
Just get some exercise.
Wow. Oh,
good for him.
Okay. So you had 2 people in custody in some place I guess it was in Washington. And, for a lot of us who've been, you done been to that courtroom or, been in there, done spent the night, had to go in there from off the Grey Goose or whatever it was. Right, so when you in there, there's plenty of COs in there. I don't think you can even try to pull a move like that. But that kind of lackadaisical. See again the difference between, justice here and justice there. See, that's kind of like in some of the back in the days, you go those certain kind of neighborhoods, them Caucasian neighborhoods. They used to have the garage door wide open, bikes laying all out everywhere, front door just wide open. Come on in. They ain't worried about none of that. That's why sometimes when you be listening at the news, they be talking about this was a safe neighborhood. Yeah, things done change. You get what I'm saying? And so I'm just saying how the lackadaisical aspect of this, judge, saying court stenographer, ain't nobody in here watching this could just happen like it just did, right? They broke. They ain't trying to go to jail, right? And the judge had to take his robe off and go chase a motherfucker too, right? You're like, man, like, damn, where's everybody at in here? What kind of courtroom is this, right? But I know if it would be us up in there, motherfucker sitting right next to you, 2 motherfuckers at the door, so people outside. It don't work like that. You ain't gonna get through, you know what I'm saying? You like, that's on the 1 yard line. You know what I'm saying? Everybody hitting that ass before you even try to get there. They got down the block, down the street. The other one fell on his face. You know what I'm saying? The other one got down the block. You couldn't even got that damn far. But again, you know, different ways of life. Even though some people say they don't have a privilege, they don't see it, right? They don't recognize it. But if you come from the other side of the fence, you'll recognize it. Brothers had that. But how many brothers? They know we gonna try to break again. Matter of fact, if we go back and when our ancestors was there, and some of my ancestors who was, you know, running, like they showed you in Roots and shit when they talk about Kunta Kinte, he kept running and shit, and they want to chop his foot off and all that. Gave a choice, did he want to get his willie cut off or did he want to get his foot cut off, right? He told me that shit, give me that foot cut, you know. But they, you know, they end up calling that some kind of psychological problem. Do y'all know they used to call that drapetomania? Yeah, they used to call that drapetomania because you didn't want to stay there to go through the bullshit. So that's what you just seen. White drapetomania. Them motherfuckers not trying to go to jail. Huh? They were trying, they ain't trying to go to jail. But see, when our ancestors was doing it, we're trying to run and get off that plantation and get all that. They called it drapetomania. But that's what you just seen there. White people with drapetomania. All right, let's see what I got in the house before I move on. I think I got 6 in the house. Like I had 8 a minute ago. Let's see who all in the house. I got nobody with no familiarity. I got new people in the house. Okay, welcome y'all. Maybe not ages or whatever. Okay, so what else I got for you in my bag? Got some other stuff in the bag in here. Let's see what I got here. Check this story out as well. Not too long. New museum in United States heritage of law enforcement. You know I'm going to read that again. New museum in the United States tackles racist heritage of law enforcement. A new museum dedicated to the history of law enforcement has opened in Washington, D.C., saying it wants to create a dialogue as police have come under increasing scrutiny in recent years. By Shihab Rattansi, or Rattansi. The director of the new National Law Enforcement Museum in Washington, D.C., says that he wants to create a dialogue between law enforcement and its critics in the United States. However, not everyone is impressed, arguing that although the museum has exhibit acknowledging the racist and xenophobic heritage of law enforcement, it fails to address how that ties to current controversies and to the experiences of the police. Was a new museum opened up in Washington, D.C., and kind of like, you know, it's a museum based on the history of it. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you that, and then I'm going to talk about it after the fact, but let me show it. I'm having a little technical difficulties here tonight. Don't understand what's going on, but we're going to do it anyway. So let's see if I can pull it up. Here we go here. Check this out. Let me show you in actual fashion what that place looked like.
Visitors to the new National Law Enforcement Museum in Washington, D.C.
Play it again. Hold on. Go back and do that again. Hold on. Go back. Go back. Hold on. Hold your horse. Hold your horses.
The new National Law Enforcement
Hold your horses there. I don't want to work with me tonight, huh? Gonna do what you want to do. Okay. Let's get it. All right, let's see. 1, 2, 3, let's get it.
National Law Enforcement Museum in Washington, D.C. has shown a film accepting that the origins of U.S. law enforcement lie in rounding up escaped slaves, xenophobia, and the protection of property for the rich.
Because both sides was wounded.
Examples of communities and police forces working together today are presented in contrast to a brutal past. Amid the interactive displays and memorabilia like notorious FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover's desk is an exhibit about Ferguson, Missouri, where the killing of a black teenager by a white police officer helped catalyze the Black Lives Matter movement. But the main goal of the museum is to pay tribute to law enforcement and explore the toughness of the job.
A driver has just run a red light.
This simulation of a traffic stop shows how difficult it is to tell the difference between someone brandishing a weapon and someone displaying their ID.
Are there any happy endings?
Well, this was a happy ending.
Oh, I wasn't sure. You looked quite aggressive.
The inference would appear to be that you too could shoot an innocent person by mistake. Statistics cobbled together from voluntary police reports from across the US are stark. For example, one study finds that people of color, minorities in US society, made up over 60% of unarmed people killed by US police in the first half of 2015. The museum's director says the problems of US law enforcement are integral to the dialogue he wants to begin.
Our role is to bring people with different points of view, different experiences, different perceptions together to try to learn from history, appreciate what's been done in the past, appreciate what's being done well now, and what can be done even stronger in the future.
We invited community organizer Natasha Napa to tour the displays with us. Her conclusion, the museum just doesn't get it.
I see mentioning of Ferguson, I see mentioning of slave patrol, but we're not connecting how all of those things connect together and how those are very real experiences that are still happening through capitalism and white supremacy. I just don't see the relationship between the police and the, particularly the black and brown and other marginalized communities, you know, that I work within, and I hear their stories, and this is just not reflective.
Oh, turn it up. I like that. I like that.
The museum is desperate to display reconstructive, sensitive, contemporary U.S. law enforcement, but that projection is some way from the perception of those being policed. Shihab Rattansi, Al Jazeera, Washington.
So there you go, showing you the new museum in Washington, showing the history of police and its interactions with people of color. And as you see, that one sister that was in there was showing like they missing the mark. You want to talk about the history as, again, has been eloquently put by KRS West 1 when he talked about overseer to officer. Check the similarities, huh? Overseer, overseer, right? And that's what it was. Slave catchers. Transformation history of the police officer was the slave catcher, right? Evolved to what he is today. Seems like that's the same shit that's going on today. Still out here catching, killing slaves. You know, I know today, now, Mr. Blow Your Mind, we're in 2018. We talking about slaves. Ain't no slaves. It got emancipated in 1865. Why would you be talking about slavery? Ain't no slavery today. If a caveman was once a caveman today and he walking with a suit, right? Did he evolve? Well, what makes you think everything else ain't evolved, right? So it was funny when you looked in that there had a simulator, right? I don't know if you caught that or not. There was a simulator in there, right? And in that simulator, it showed this cat, right? Did you see how he was standing there? You see how he was standing there? You see, I got that circle around that hand, right? Before he starts speaking, right? You see that hand. You know, those who went to that, you know, before he started thinking, make sure they had to see them hands, right? I ain't gonna say what it is. You know what it is, right? Seeing that hands, right? And then that simulator where we're showing about seem like to me this whole museum is trying to get you in the mind state of thinking that, look how hard it is to be a cop. You see this white man, he jumped out the car, he got a gun, he's shooting. See, now if you the police officer, can you tell that this white man got a gun versus when you seen the black man, right? Let me see, hold on. When you see that black man in there, right? Well, let me show you the black man. When you show the black man, look at the black man. They say they kind of identical in the clothing, but look at the demeanor of that black man. Hey, you can tell that's an ID. He ain't pointing no gun at you. But when you looked at that white cat, he was pointing a gun at it. It was clearly he was pointing a gun. But see, the mindset to me is you're trying to make people think that that's how the normal situation. When police pull you over and you black, who get the fuck out the car? Talking about here's my ID. Who do that? You sitting in your car. You ain't trying to make too many moves. You get what I'm saying? You trying to be in a situation that don't make this itchy trigger figure nervous person do something that you can't get home from, right? So, again, they had to twist it because he got to make the white guy shoot, because if you make black and then the white guy got the hand, you'd be like, oh, that's racial. It's racial any damn way. I mean, how many times have you seen on the news or watching TV? I'm not saying it don't happen, but it's not something they put out to let everybody see that a white guy coming out just busting caps at the cops like that. You rarely ever see that. You might see that on cops where, when brothers doing that, but you don't see that just right there. So this museum is trying to get in the mindset that those who coming in and be in Washington, primarily, I'm pretty sure them schools will be taking them kids for field trips, right? So that they can get in the mindset and getting them to realize that, cops are not bad. And again, as the video was talking about in 2015, there was a high percentage of cops actually killing people who were just pedestrians or just regular situations of citizens, right? There was a high percentage of that. And so, the museum could have had this, but it's talking about Ferguson. I mean, Ferguson is not good, even though we know that the way that whole thing got twisted, and Michael Brown was the swole, bulking up. Somebody shooting him with a gun, he bulking up and going through bullets, and and Darian Johnson ended up going to jail because he was the only eyewitness to see it. And so he ended up going to jail for that shit, right? The other one was dead, and it was the cop's word, and the one that could have seen it, his word was no good. But again, that's what they said, and that was Ferguson, right? And so they show that, and again, these are going to be some of the things that they're going to always keep showing to try to make their reference that, cops are not bad, they have to defend themselves. And I'm not saying that cops don't. It's not a job I want. Let me tell you something. Again, as I told you, the diet that we eat here in this United States, the stuff that become a normalcy in this country, and then we want to think that it's safe to be out here when the diet they've been eating for years, little kids and teenagers and now adults, and then packaged along with the other things of the obstacles and the glass ceilings of not being able to obtain. And you know what I'm saying? Would you want to be a cop? Because see, even to be a cop, you got to be off. You know what I'm saying? That's what the one aspect they're not going to talk about is the psychological evaluation. Because we just seen with that one with Tamir Rice, the cop that ended up killing him, that ended up trying to go somewhere else, and then when he went back and tried to get on the force, he was breaking down and crying, sitting there through the I think it was going through the gun range. He was having problems. They said this dude is not psychologically stable. Well, if he's not stable then, he definitely wasn't stable before, right? Mr. Blow Your Mind, come on. The cops I'm not saying there's no Mr. Friendly out there. I'm not saying he ain't got no Mr. Friendly. I'm just saying that, again, it's a tough job, but to see the history of it, it was never good from the beginning. How can something that was never good in the beginning somehow end up changing to be, it's for the betterment? You know what I'm saying? You got to scratch that off. You got to, you know what I'm saying? And that's the problem with some people. We don't want to look at the fact that sometimes things that from the foundation when it was built, like say if you got a house and your house don't have a good foundation, I don't give a fuck what kind of money you done put in, what kind of mansion you done built. I don't care, you know what I'm saying, with all kind of tricks and all technologies and helicopter. I don't care about all that shit, but if that foundation no good, all that shit gonna be fucked up, right? So why people try to act as if like the foundation from the beginning was fucked up, that somehow it changed and it's evolving to becoming better? No, it's becoming worse. Because again, just the progression of that shit got worse. Because again, they say the gap between the wealth, the haves and the have-not has gotten greater. So again, that means poverty, crime, people gonna be doing a lot more because they trying to survive. And then you got some people who have abundance, who opulent, got more than others. The other day, didn't I just do a story? The motherfuckers talking about doing the $500 million to recreate the Titanic 2. That $500 million that you doing for that bullshit, you could do a whole lot better if they talking about this, what they call make America white again? Oh, that's the wrong one. Make America great again, right? Make America great again. Well, if you want to make America great again, what part of history was it that way? And then what part do my people play in that part? You understand? Just like we're seeing, matter of fact, going right into that, just like we're seeing the people that's coming from, Honduras, right? But I won't touch that. I won't touch that yet, right? So let's just say, again, let's say the foundation. If the foundation of some shit is fucked from the beginning, how does it change? And people think just because, you can change the mindset of the people by hoping that the generation that's coming behind them, if you're educating them, but again, the people prior to them, you ain't changed them. So you're hoping they die out in this new crop coming up. But see, the problem is this new crop that's coming up on this one side is going to be some of the last crop. You understand what I'm saying? Listen to what I'm saying. Some of this new crop that's coming now, that you're seeing more of the so-called like the multicultural, don't see color and racism and all that, and trying to be like, utopian, everybody love everybody. That's the last crop. There ain't gonna be too many crops behind that. You get what I'm saying? Because they're having problems with that area. So that's why you seeing they talking about this browning of America, and then those who still got that the old boy network type, they still getting riled up. They the ones riled up and ready to do all this. You know what I'm saying? What they call John McCain, they called him a maverick, right? They got all these maverick ass motherfuckers out here who ready to put in that work, because they know the last crop ain't gonna be able to stay that way because again of the browning. And then again, like I said, you got all them coming from this brown wave seem to be trying to matriculate itself up into this country, trying to put it to the test. You say, give us your tithe, you're poor and you're hungry, right? Ain't that what's written on that motherfucking liberty? Give me your tithe, you're poor. Isn't that what y'all say? And they putting that shit to the test. But they said, no. We don't mean that shit. We gonna change the motherfucking laws. No. Well, let's put it like this. What if when you originally came, and we know that's kind of a fictitious ass story, you know that shit. Let's say when you first came with the 13 colonies, and the natives that you say indigenous, they probably could have been my people, but let's just say they here. Now what if they put the same shit back then? When the matter wouldn't, because you would have came with the gun. It wouldn't matter, right? They'd be like, no, wait a minute, hold on. We got to change our laws. We not allowing anybody to come here. Okay, we're going to give you a little corn, give you a little hamburger to sleep for a little bit. Now that shit, tomorrow y'all pack your shit up and get the fuck up out of here. See, you once one time was that too, right? And the door was open and shit. See, the problem is the door open with you. You know what I'm saying? Motherfucker went to sleep and wake up, the gun point to his head. Like everybody say, you get down or lay down, right? That's right. So again, from the beginning, the foundation of what you started, how could it ever be good? Tell me how that works. Well, let's see. Let's see some of that old ways. Remember I did that story the other day when that elderly woman was on Ryan Airline? Remember that story, y'all, who was here? All right, we didn't get to see the other side. We got to see her side. Remember how she was distraught and she felt, because she had a foreign. I think she kind of came from the Caribbean islands somewhere. So she kind of have an affinity with, people of that persuasion. She been used to, kind of caping and catering, and they hurt her feelings. Well, this is what he actually said. Let's look at this. Look at this. Let's show this foundation shit here. See if I get.
If you don't go to another seat, I'll put you to another seat. Don't talk to me in a f***ing foreign language, you stupid ugly cow. Mate, stop. I will carry on as long as I can with this ugly black bastard. Hey. Your voice down. Stop. There's no need for that at all. Just stop.
Yep. You have to move this lady.
So that was the gentleman that was sitting next to her that gave her all that hell and talked all that ugly black bastard and, all this stuff. Again, see, that's what privilege would do. See, that's that difference between, how one aspect can do versus the other aspect of things. And it knows it has some leverage. It has some leeway. It's kind of part of just the nature of things, right? But because it was in the confines of a business, well, they said now they want to actually try to press charges on him because they say they think that's a hate crime, right? And some people hear me say, "Oh, Mr. White, you're racist your damn self." Am I really racist? Or am I just telling what it is, right? Am I just speaking what it seems to be taboo because it seems to be like some people don't want to hear it because, again, they think it's offensive because the fact of the matter is, I'm showing you what it is. See, the thing is, when you've been so used to doing something and it was so natural to the fact that it wasn't wrong, and then when people start to show you that, again, there's something a little wrong with it. Again, some people talk about, people getting too sensitive and stuff. No, well, there's one aspect of people who just been taking the blunt of whatever the fuck a motherfucker want to throw at them. It didn't matter, right? They had to take that from the time they came to, or the time they've been here to the time of your association with you and so forth and so on. And when do they ever get a break in that? So that's why you see that what happened to the Megyn Kelly, right? Now it seems like her job is on jeopardy, that they about to get rid of her, right? And I showed y'all that the other day too about the blackface, right? Again, is it that situation? Is it really, very detrimental? Or again, was somebody acting as if they didn't know, said some things, foot got caught in the mouth, and again, the power of, this this history of this foundation, people being penalized for that, right? You being penalized because, you know, you should know better. But again, you don't feel like you should be restricted. And this is what I think that's stoking a lot of them up, is because they believe that a lot of their privilege and the way that has always been, right? So when somebody say make America great again, the aspect one has to think of it, well, when America was so-called great, then it seemed like everybody was in a fucked up position other than yourself, right? So, you know, if there's going to be any evolution and evolving to making this thing better, and some of that shit got to go. And it's only these small victories that are happening that ought to make people realize that there's a change happening. And they say change is not accepted and people don't like change, but change must happen because some things can't stay the same. Because if it did, you understand, let's think about these same particular people who do what they do now. Since I, as a whiteologist, study history, I know that there's a particular time when you was in this position, right? But you don't teach that and you don't talk about it, and I won't elaborate on it. But I just know that things had to change to get you out of your condition. So, again, as much as you want to, you know, state that you do well, and you can't say blanket every one of you, but we're going to just say that there is a portion, if not majority, right, that still hold and harbor. And so, you know, things got to, you know, because again, people didn't come to this planet to be subjugated. You get what I'm saying? People did not be born to die in the conditions. There's got to be some form of life. And you can't be always, everything got to be about you and about only yours. You know, that's the spoiled brat. That's the one who don't want to share. Like, you don't think nobody else supposed to have nothing but it's just you? Come on, man, that ain't, really? In the heart of your own heart, is that you really believe that? They ain't supposed to have nothing. You're going to run them motherfucker into the ground, and then when you get rid of them, you're going to get a new one and run them into the ground, and when they done, you're going to run them. Come on, when the cycle got to stop. It's only natural. Anyway, I ain't going to keep going on that. Matter of fact, let's see who out here in the crowd. I got about 9 out there, huh? Anybody talking to a brother? Let's see if anybody talking to me. Let's see, I got Falcon ET555. What's happening, Mr. Blood? I'm glad you're back. More glad to see you here. I ain't seen you. I've been on for a couple months now, man. Y'all been slow to getting to me, but I appreciate that you're here tonight. Hit that like button. And if you don't like, you can hit the dislike button. Comment or subscribe. You know how to do it. But I appreciate you being here, Falcon Mill. What else I got for y'all tonight? Oh yeah, I got some more. I got check this one out. Now, since we kind of talked about, right? We talked about this, you know, this justice, right? And then we talked about the museum with the police in Washington, right? So let's look what something happened. Some of y'all might have seen this. Let's see. Hold on, it's kind of acting up. See, they be over here working me over here, man. They be working me. All right, so check this out, and I'll come back afterwards.
Yep. Watch out. Why is you punching him? He's not watching that thing. 3 step back. Do y'all need backup or something? he doing? Stop moving. But that man is resisting animals. Stop. But she said he was reaching.
He wasn't reaching for nothing.
They do gotta protect themselves, but what is he doing for y'all? Stop beating them like that. Come on, you cannot touch him. Hey, y'all not allowed to do that. Where's the sergeant at? Yeah, they not allowed to touch him like that. Are you gonna kidding me? You see him right here? No, we see him. Yeah, we see him. Yeah, he's not allowed to do that. All y'all can handle it. Yes. Stop reaching, dude. He's not reaching. Y'all got his damn hand. That's why people don't like the cops now. Y'all see all of this.
And he wasn't reaching towards his pockets. Y'all jumped out kicking his ass.
And it's all on video.
And I got cameras on my house too.
That's the sergeant right there. Where? Because that's
Right
why
there.
he was scared to get pulled over by the police. Look what y'all do. This is what literally trying to do. Yeah. That's why he was scared of the police.
He a veteran and all types of shit.
Y'all here hitting somebody. Y'all crazy as fuck. That shit fucked up. That shit is not even funny, man. That shit is fucked up. That's why people scared of the police.
Yeah, when he gets down to the damn county and he's fucked up, that's because you guys beat the shit out.
And they're gonna do it again. They're gonna take him to a motherfucking field or something and beat his ass because that's what they've been doing. That's what you're looking for.
They ain't even had no probable cause to even stop that man.
You gotta know. Make sure you hear and listen to what they say. Because you're taking a long time. What is this like? You guys are doing some shit.
No, he wouldn't. He worked. That's the veteran dude that I was talking to about my truck. All he do is smoke. Yeah.
I should go knock on the door.
Right there.
Was the stuff out on the porch?
Yeah. They fucked him up. He wasn't doing nothing but walking.
Right. And they was beating them?
14 officers on one.
And we recorded it too? Yeah, good.
So there was a situation where elder brother had been, kind of just walking in his neighborhood and got accosted by the police, and you see what took place, right? Again, if it wasn't for the cameras, right? I told you I believe that the cameras was a kind of a creative thing, unbeknownst to them, because again, we had been saying these things had been taking place for generations, and people were saying, "Oh, the black man always talking about he's innocent. He's always lying, saying, huh?" But in that case, you seen that okay, there was a female cop and a cop that was dealing with him. Now, again, somebody was saying that he might have been a little bit off, right? Meaning, he was a little slow. He was elder, had been in the military and so forth, and it's kind of like when you was a kid. For those, now I ain't gonna say everybody, because I know everybody, some of y'all from the politically correct generation, right? Brand new mugs. You didn't get ass whooping, right? You didn't get the ass whooping, right? So you get the ass whooping, talking about stand still while you get that. It shit hurt. I ain't trying to stay, ain't no ass whooping. You crazy? So here you tasing the man and talking about be still. Right? I mean, what logical rationale is that? You shocking the shit out of me and I'm supposed to be still. Now I'm going to try to stop because I don't want you to keep doing the shit. But in this case, you seem to be like you was trying to light a Christmas tree and shit. Right? You was just, you just lighting the motherfucker up. So in what rationale is he supposed to continue to try to be still when you constantly shocking the shit out of him? Now, am I saying that you're not supposed to obey, right, L? We supposed to obey the law, right? That's part of citizenry, right? But when authority gets in that position, what are you supposed to do when you feel like, man, you feel like you kind of invaded my square beyond the capacity of what your job entitles you to do. Now, again, I don't know all the ins and outs. I don't know whether he had a warrant. I don't know if he had did something. I'm just saying based on observation of what this video showed. Now, they're wrestling with him, right? You shocking him. Now, backup comes. Now, you see the one dude, you only get to see the back of him. So now, okay, now they down there. Again, my motto is if I ever was to be a police officer, which that shit ain't gonna never happen. But I'm just saying if I was a police officer, there's ways that you know how to you deal with people. Now I see there ain't no threat, no gun, none of that stuff. Okay, there's a certain way we're gonna deal with it. Okay, get this handcuffs, get the whatever, okay? Now that dude that came out that car, he came over there like, move over, he came over there like when you be watching the Animal Channel and shit. When the lions and shit, they all wrestling shit for a piece of the meat and shit. That's how his ass came over there. And he got his ass over there, he started looking at shit, and then dude moving, because again, they ain't showing you they got knees and shit. All some motherfucker got a knee in your back, in your neck, on top of your head. That shit hurt. So you maybe trying to move so at least get some of the pain, and he using that for a situation to get off his frustration. And he was wailing him. Huh? What part of the protocol of a cop gets to wail the shit out of you? Oh, they say he's going in his pockets. You got gun. Right? Everybody know you got gun. Now, unless you ready to die, like Biggie say, you ready to die, you go in your pocket. Other than that, I don't think you going in your pocket. But you might be trying to, get yourself some position to get you some elbow room because you motherfuckers trying to hurt me. And no, they all go to wailing him. They all getting free licks in. See, that must be some shit to be able to go to jail knowing you can whoop somebody's ass and not worry about going to jail. Right? So it seems like there's some kind of secret protocol. Like motherfucker got all kind of problems and shit. You want to come to work, you got to see a nigga today, I'm finna bust his ass up because my lady cheating on me, or you know what I'm saying, whatever the shit might be, you want to take it all out on his ass. So again, as we looked earlier in this show, I talk about the history of the police officer. Again, slave catcher. That's what that shit looked like, didn't it? 14 on 1, right? Did it take 14? What shit? That's like some King Kong shit. King Kong, strong as 10,000 men. They remember that old shit, the old school, remember that shit? Like they acting like nigga like he King Kong and some shit. And everybody trying to wrestle King Kong and shit. It don't take all that. It don't take all that. Now, a situation where it's warrant for that, then again, like I said, black people you will never hear black people, and I know more, I know, but hypothetically speaking, black people don't try to justify when people wrong. If you try to say that shit, y'all be bullshitting. Black people don't try to justify when motherfuckers is wrong. It's when motherfuckers know that situation don't warrant, is that's when we gonna say, you know, that's some bullshit. And y'all try to say we be making up. You know, they say, you know, black, like, say if you had a situation and you need the witness, lawyer gonna say, are they black? What the fuck you mean is they black? What's the fuck of that? Oh, because black people lie for black people. That same thing like black people kill black people, like everybody's gonna kill everybody else. You know, a lot of just bullshit, right? But again, we're supposed to respect this authority when they just keep disrespecting. So I believe that's why they came up with BIE. Black identity extremists, because who's kicking our ass the most lately? So what they think, we gonna start getting in our mind to retaliate? So they already trying to beat you to the punch. So if you do, because matter of fact, you know, I ain't even gonna get to that. But anyway, that's why I think that BIE is there. Because see, it seems like every time situations happen that they don't even garner for an ass whooping, they ass whooping you anyway. Right? They doing all that shit to you. They're doing all that extra shit to you. And so, what they thinking? We gonna start retaliating? Right. You ain't even retaliating in those situations. Right? But that's what they're gonna say, right? All right, let me see what I got else in my bag for y'all. Let's see what else here. Check this out. Let's see what I got in this one.
We've been hiding in the bushes waiting to witness one of these crossings. Let's go. They're coming right now. You can see they've come in. They've got a family in a raft.
Excuse me, sir. Were you trying to cross into America illegally?
So what we're witnessing now is clearly a family that was being brought over by that smuggler that was paddling in the raft. This is an attempt to illegally cross, and they've gone back over there. We've seemed to have fooled this attempt, but officials tell us that he's probably just going to look for another spot. You know, it's a illegal crossing?
Yes.
Yes? But you came anyway?
Why?
Why did you come, is what I'm asking you. Can you tell me why you came illegally?
The situation of Honduras.
You're in Honduras? You're from Honduras?
Yes.
What are the conditions there?
You could not have work in there because the criminals always will get your money.
That a bitch. Then you thought in the beginning the motherfucker was like, wait for it. Then that motherfucker about to get a line or some shit. This nigga talking about people trying to, huh? Oh, y'all funny in the motherfucker, man. Y'all be some funny motherfuckers at time. This motherfucker acting like this motherfucker was in the safari and shit, like he was finna capture some shit. People trying to, you know, save themselves, right? They going through some whatever the shit that's going over in Honduras, right? And he had the nerve to be walking side by side. Why you want to try to come in illegally? Yeah, illegally? Motherfucker, you illegally too. What the fuck you talking about? Because that was back then. I know y'all have asked somebody about history. I know you forgot about all that. That's way in the past, Mr. Blood. Why you always talking about that? Oh, you forgot about that shit though, right? You was illegally then, right? Right, more? Ain't that right? It was illegal, wasn't it? But the treaties, we don't deal with no treaties. And that don't mean nothing. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes with that. But anyway, so It was, people, doing what they doing, trying to find themselves. And again, I said what I said a couple of days ago about them, how I felt. Like, my people don't put too much, been through too much, have done too much, have gave too much. And I understand. I got a plate for a stranger when you come to my house. I got a room if you need a hot in a cot to sleep for the night. But I don't know if I can put you up when I got other things and other people to take care of as well. When you gonna put that work in? When y'all gonna put that work in? You get what I'm saying? And that's not me trying to be facetious and trying to say, not having sympathy for people. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying everybody wants to come eat off the plate. The pot that we have created. Again, we can't even get really it, right? We can't even really get it. So again, I just think people gonna have to, draw the line and be willing to make those sacrifices, just like our ancestors made sacrifices. And then the problem is a lot of people come and then you're not really, you don't give what you should be in honor and reference to the other people. No, you come and jump on the bandwagon and shit on the rest of us. Very disrespectful. And even that one that's running this shit is disrespectful. But we ain't supposed to say nothing, y'all. It's cool. It's all right. Right? That's the way we're supposed to look at that shit, right? I'm going to move on. I could go there. Well, let's put it this way. I'm going to give you a little bit. I ain't going to give you all of him. I'm going to give you a little bit of this cat. Because, see, this is the mindset. This is where this is coming from. This is this one particular segment of this population of people, right? This is what they feel. And again, as time go on, there's probably more of a problem, especially the way, when you look at that migration or immigration, a lot of people saying that stuff is about voting. It's about trying to, because these numbers are starting to tilt. Because again, for those who originally came to my channel, you came because of white extinction, right? And so now that has fruition and it's coming, it's a reality, and we're starting to we know about that now. And again, prosperity is down in the future. So again, they see the browning and they seeing, the tables tipping. So you need more people, because otherwise it's going, they starting to filter in and trying to get in politics and they're trying to do all this stuff. So, you're going to need some numbers, because again, census-wise, these people are considered to be under the umbrella like you, right? And you got all these sanctuary cities and all this other shit. So, this is this one particular person. Let you see him.
Hail Trump! Hail our people! Hail victory!
Our lived experience is being a young white person in 21st century America, seeing your identity be demeaned. I've lived in this multicultural mess my entire life, and I'm trying to get out of it.
I hope you're feeling all right. I know it is early on a Saturday. I've just had a headache for a week. I don't think it's from having too much to drink last night. It's just the winning. It's too much winning. We've crossed a Rubicon in terms of recognition. We aren't quite the establishment, but let's start acting like it.
We're trying to break through the largest taboo of our times, identity for people of European heritage.
We need to make it permissible to think as we want and to not have double standards and racial discrimination institutionally against white people, for example. This needs to go.
Racist basically has become to mean anything to the right of Karl Marx. Anyone who sort of cares for their people, or even is just not self-hating, self-abasing, and thinks white people need to be exterminated.
Donald Trump, no KKK, no fascist USA. Who is meeting here? National Policy Institute.
What is that? It sounds vague, right? It sounds boring. It could be anything. Well, that's their plan. Everybody knows what the American Nazi Party is. Everybody knows what the Ku Klux Klan is. But National Policy Institute sounds like some boring office around here somewhere. Actually, they are white nationalists.
The alt-right, they take sometimes very direct inspiration from the hate groups of old. This subculture has grown in message boards, specifically like 4chan and Reddit. A younger generation of mostly white males reinforce each other's notions based upon a white identity politics, as well as just an overall reaction as what they call political correctness. They are trying to recruit youth for the long haul.
Hi. Hi. Please. Hello? Gotta run. Bye. Fuck.
Presses on your ass?
Yeah. Well, I just, yeah, everyone just wants a piece. Before the Trump campaign, I would get a media request maybe every quarter or so. At this point, I get a media request effectively every day. One philosophy is, oh, these guys hate you, they're a bunch of shit libs or whatever. And my philosophy is effectively that there's no such thing as bad publicity.
I just want to go down a list of things, and you tell me if they are okay or not okay.
Okay.
Graffiti that says, "Make America White Again."
I don't, look, graffiti is illegal, but...
The slogan, "Make America White Again."
I don't have a huge problem with that. I mean, that people
Okay.
are just expressing their opinion. The alt-right has existed long before Trump. We were doing a lot of thinking, but no one was really paying attention. Maybe if you're less charitable, you could say we were engaging in intellectual masturbation. Trump definitely energized the alt-right. He was elected because of the immigration issue, which is fundamentally an identity and race issue, let's be honest. Because we have this connection with him, we can inflect his policies. We're really trying to change the world. And we're going to do that by changing consciousness and changing how people see the world and how they see themselves. It's my great pleasure to welcome Millennial Woes. Millennial Woes is just the kind of person that we want in the alt-right. Millennial Woes, and you could say that about me too, we're kind of the hipster whisperers. So it's my pleasure to welcome Millennial Woes to MPI. Welcome.
I went to art college in London, coming from Edinburgh in Scotland. Edinburgh was virtually 100% white. The halls of residence was extremely multiracial and multicultural, and I found that very dizzying and horrible. I didn't like it. 2 or 3 years ago, I finally came to understand what is called the Jewish question, that there are problems with the Jewish people. And that was difficult because I really didn't want to become an anti-Semite. It's like the biggest cliche, the biggest right-wing cliche. I started my YouTube channel at the very start of 2014. I was on welfare, I was very depressed and so on, and I had a lot of questions about the world. I thought I would make 15 or 20 videos, no one would watch them, and I would just stay on the dole forever, welfare, being miserable. That was what I thought. But as it happened, it took off. By the standards of the alt-right, it's I would say the biggest channel in Europe.
Women shouldn't have the vote. Because if you do give them the vote, they will mess up your psychological defenses and your legal systems, your protocols, your culture, and make it vulnerable.
Hi, I'm Adele Stan with the American Prospect, and I'm curious what you would like to see Trump do first thing right off as soon as he takes office.
I guess I don't need to answer that.
I wanted to be a theater director, and I wanted to do all this avant-garde stuff, and that's how I thought of myself. Experiencing the 9/11 era, and I became extremely skeptical of that whole, flag-waving period. Let's all hold hands and get low-interest mortgages and go shopping on credit card debt in order to save America. I knew that we had to get away from the conservative movement. By about mid-2008, I was using this term alternative right or alt-right. And in 2010, I founded AlternativeRight.com, and I think I was more or less there.
These are typical diversity images. I don't think these would be much surprising to anyone. Essentially, diversity is going to be wonderful. It helps whites. You can have new friends.
I also have...
Right, so I'm going to cut it from there. But as you can see, that is the alt-right, right? And that's that group and what their stance is and what they believe in, and, and that whole thing about MAGA, right? Make America great again. So the question has to become, right, with they call it the traveling caravan that's coming from Honduras through Mexico on up. And once they get to that border, what's going to end up happening, y'all? And they say they're picking up more, they picking up scraggle, and they're saying now they're trying to report and say that they're putting in, MS-13s and all that. They hyping and all that up. So what's going to end up happening when they all get on that border? Now I hear they talking about they're going to change them laws. So is there going to be some, I guess you could deport them, but if that don't work, then what would be the alternative to that, right? Right? So again, that particular group and this people, the whole thing, they said that they supported our president, right? He supported our president, right? And so, the agenda is at hand now. Now this, to me, is kind of like, okay, now this about that wall, or this about voting, or I even heard somebody say, well, if they didn't vote me back in, I'll let them all in. So it's like, at the end of all that, if people do get their way or they get in, who holding the stick? Us? Are we going to go down another notch? Right? Are they going to have some other people? Because again, also could be about, military too, right? I mean, who really, again, I guess if you got no alternatives, and the best way for somebody who's a non-citizen is to what? Get into the military to get that citizenship, right? Right, then, what other plans, again, that's what I'm saying. We got to look at all that shit. So you got a lot of shit on our plate. And sometimes I know a lot of people don't want to talk and say, oh, man, you on that racial stuff. I ain't about that black and white, and I love anybody and anybody good. It's okay. I'm not telling you that. I'm just telling you the foundation has always been what it is. Now, I know for some people they're going to have a different because they say, well, there was once upon a time there was some agreements and people respected it, but then didn't they turn on you too? Didn't they, again, renege, as we say, right? You renege like playing spades and shit. You renege. Nigga reneged on that. So you reneged on the deal and then took you and threw you in with the rest of them and took your sovereignty. They did that to you, right? So again, they say history is doomed to repeat itself of those who don't know it, right? So the way that this system teaches, and a lot of people are absent-minded about it, and they don't get into stuff until shit hits the fan. So a lot of people are turned off when you're talking about it. I'm not here to be racist as about hating. It's just, this is what the game is, and you better pay attention to what the fuck is going on. That's all I'm here to do. That's all I do. I just inform and keep it up. So, if my track record, again, like I say, my channel is the most hated in the black corner. It won't get off the ground. After it got off the ground, then it made sure it couldn't get off the ground. So you mean to tell me when you look at the numbers, you don't see nothing strange about that shit? Anyway, moving on. So let's see what else I got in the bag. Matter of fact, let me see if anybody here look like people's out here talking. I see that LL out here. That's good, bro. See what you out here talking about, bro. Let's see. Let's see. They're just watching. They might as well go back in the house. At least call those officers superiors. Yes, sir. Obey the laws proper. I used to be an officer. That's why I resigned. An officer's job is to calm the situation down through conversation first. Yes, sir. Word up. Mr. Blows Your Mind. Genetic Survival Pep Rally. Yes, sir. And genetic survival. Okay, Honduras and Mexican brown folks don't get along. Possibly powder keg. Yeah, because Honduras would be considered. I mean, it's the same thing with Mexicans and Puerto Ricans, right? I mean, in that dynamic of that mixture is really, it's about like black and white, right? It's kind of like that whole Hispanic aspect of things. They know it's kind of like again, when I say these words, don't take it in the most negative way. I'm just speaking because again, for me, I'm not the type of person who looks at like I only want a specific type of people. All our people, we need everybody on deck, not just some. We can't just take these who Kunde La educated with the diploma versus Pookie and Ray Ray. I don't even like using that term, but okay, Pookie and Ray Ray. I need Pookie and Ray Ray with Kunde La education, all be on code. You understand? You can't have no scragglers in this military. You know what I'm saying? And so I get what you're saying, but you used to, you do what you did until you resign. And there's a real reason for that. You know the real reason why is because, again, you had your reason for why you did what you did for the betterment of it, but you understand that, again, as I was saying earlier about the foundation. But something is the foundation, the way it's made up. I don't care how you build it on the top of it, the mansion, and put all this shit and pretty up in a helicopter and good cut grass. If that foundation ain't no good, none of that shit no good. So the foundation was never good. So it does not matter about you coming in and doing good because, you know, it has a real agenda why it's there in the first place, even though the politically correct way is we serve and protect. You know better than that. You know serve and protect ain't really about what that sign says. That's about something else. It goes back to its origin, who is really about serving and protecting. So it's just first line of defense to keep that from overflowing onto them, right or wrong. You see what I'm saying? So I get what you're saying. I'm just saying, and that powder keg is coming in our back door. So is that going to give the license for what they called it back since I know you're more. So you know when the letter by the Pope, when they're talking about conjuring up that militia, right? Is that what's going to happen here? Is this going to, you get what I'm saying? That, okay, so, a lot of them is already deputized, right? And by you being what you used to be, you probably know, I would like to even have you come on the show one day to even just, what you can say, what you feel you could say. I would love for you to come on the show one day and dispense some of that if you would like, brother. If so, if you subscribe to me, I hit you up. That because you definitely can impart some information and expand more than probably I would, especially on that particular subject. So, what else I got on that? I think I'm just about, matter of fact, yeah, I'm going to close out the show with some good stuff because I got to look at this. I want to look at this, right? Y'all seen this? I know y'all seen it because some of y'all probably even went and played, right? Some of y'all went and played. I know you did. You had to, right? So let's check this out.
For one lucky winner waking up with the largest lottery
Okay, what happened? Hold on, y'all.
$1.6 billion.
Hold on. Try to go back again. What's going on here? There we go. All right, let's go. There we go. Sometimes it gets slow over here. All right, let's do it this way.
for one lucky winner waking up with the largest lottery jackpot ever, $1.6 billion.
We're all at work, so it wasn't us. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at those winning numbers. They were 5, 28, 62, 65, 70 with a mega ball number 5.
And there was one winner. The winning tickets sold in South Carolina. ABC's Steve Osunsami is there right now. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning to you, George. We are live outside of South Carolina State Lottery headquarters, and no matter where that person is who won that big jackpot, no matter where they are across the state, they'll have to come here to claim their money. This is one of the best states in the union to win the lottery because you can claim the money anonymously.
It's Mega Millions. What's up, America?
This morning, one person in South Carolina is holding the lucky ticket that the rest of us working Joes wish were sitting in our back pocket, worth $1.6 billion. The cash payout in this world record jackpot, $904 million in cash. And even some of the losers are winners. Across the country, at least 36 tickets won at least $1 million, matching 5 numbers. In South Carolina alone, there were 5 $10,000 winners and over 200,000 other people who took home between $200 and $500. Lottery officials counting the cash coming in the last few days estimated that more than 75% of all possible winning numbers were sold before Tuesday night, more than 302 million number combinations. Across the country, people with Kool-Aid cash were having champagne dreams.
I'm holding the lucky money right here.
The lines in some places were hours long.
I would buy houses for all of my children, pay off my mortgages, and help people.
I'm here to buy 5,535 Mega Millions tickets.
Great. We'll get that go. We hope we give you the winning ticket.
For all of us whose lottery dreams were dashed, hope is not lost. The Powerball is up to $620 million, and that drawing is tonight.
We're not even talking about that. You know, the 620.
Well, now we can.
Hey, Steve-O, thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.
Okay, so that was that $1.6 billion that they supposedly gave away, right? And again, we don't know who won. But I know the history to it is, I know we couldn't win. I know they was always said it was never made for us to win that lottery, right? So by it being in South Carolina, what is the possibility of being one of us winning that damn money? And if you won that money, there's a lot can be done with that money, boy, huh? A lot of stuff we could do with that money to facilitate some of this damn damages we done accrued by being in this situation, right? But you know, I looked at that thing, man, that whole lottery situation, man. I'd be like, man, do y'all? I mean, if you play that game on the regular, then you kind of know. But I was like, you know, really? Okay, I know they tell you mathematically that, you know, the combinations and the possibilities, right? And that only one person can win. And I'm like, okay, I'll give you that, right? But I had seen some time back how they say they pick the numbers, right? I'm going to show you the video that I had seen this on.
Well, our Good Question series is back tonight, and as always, it's your opportunity to get answers to things you've always wondered about. And this week, we're talking about the Wisconsin Lottery. News 3's Mark Lovicott joins us with the winning question. This is something I've always wanted to know.
And it's really interesting what we found out. A lot of folks, you know, people in our newsroom as well, I've played it before. They're lottery players. And you might know up until 2002, you could actually see the lottery drawing live on television. Since that stopped, have you ever wondered who is responsible for drawing those winning numbers and exactly how it's done? One viewer was wondering, Kate from Madison wanted to know who pulls those winning lottery numbers and how do they do it? Good question. Oftentimes, lottery players have a very specific routine when they choose their numbers. At the Wisconsin Lottery, they're also very specific.
Hi, I'm Lori Minetti.
Gone are the days of TV drawings and ball machines. It now all happens inside this highly secure room, and only Jesse Waller has access to it. He's a pretty important guy.
Family don't actually get to play, but friends, then they would say, you know, can you give me winning numbers or something like that? But that's not going to happen because I have no control over that.
Everything in here is done randomly.
We're going to flip the blue and yellow coin to decide which random number generator to use.
You heard right. A computerized random number generator is used. No more ball machines.
In the machine itself is a little bit of an element called americium, which is radioactive. And it decays in a random fashion.
The result? Random numbers.
And I have the only key for this line.
The computers are very secure. They're standalone and not connected to any network. In the room, a witness from a private accounting firm keeps everything in check, and a Capitol police officer who actually presses the draw button. Everything is also recorded.
Self-test, draw numbers. The winning numbers are 5, 6, and 7.
The numbers come up instantly, but the process to get there is quite complex. The numbers used to be drawn in Milwaukee on live television, but again, that stopped in 2002 because of some budget reasons, and the drawings are now here in Madison, and that's how the random number generators came to be. Since the ball machines were no longer needed for visual reasons, and since they were very expensive to buy and maintain, the lottery says the computerized system was much cheaper and much more reliable.
I don't know, though. The ball machines seem to be more accountable because you can see, you know what I mean?
And they assure us that this is very, very random, but the ball machines are more fun.
They're more fun, too. You know, that's true. Very interesting. Thanks, Mark.
So they say that the drawings are coming through computerized, right? Now we know you've seen when they showed originally when they did the ball, they showed, right? They show you that you seen the white man come up, raise his hand, the ball seem to drop down in the machine, they spinning. But if you go back and watch, you don't see no numbers on them balls. But when they split that camera and put it at the bottom, then all of a sudden you see the numbers. And then you see the ball start falling, right? I'm just saying, I'm just throwing something out there. Because if a computer is generated now, that same dude that you seen in that video there, that dude, the white dude that was talking, I was going to put it, but that cat won so many lotteries because he been stealing. He was stealing the million ones. He finally got caught up. So he was working there. So I'm just saying. Now, if you heard in that story talking about New York being the best place in the Commonwealth or the Union for a person to win because they can be what? Anonymous. They don't have to show who they is. So how do we know for a fact, was that a Hollywood thing? You got to see this hand, but you just see the other hand like a magic trick and shit. And these numbers and one person winning. Again, I'm not saying that math, and I'm just saying, man, come on. Right? One person won $1.6 billion. How much money did they make on just people keep coming back trying to play the damn game, right? That didn't win. Now, a couple people, I don't even understand how that math even worked. Some people had 5 numbers, but not the Powerball, right? They only got $1 million. It's $1.6 billion. How you gonna get $1 million? What kind of math is this, right? What? I'm trying to figure out the math to that shit, right? And those people who be winning, they'll let us win. But this big shit, who want to bet some money? Who want to put that money down? They're in South Carolina. You think it probably might be one of us. And shit, I got family over there. I'm hoping one of them did it. But I know damn well it's not. Because I know that shit generated through technology. And so how they pick that one damn number is because why? The computer done already went through all the numbers. And it know what location got one number, No, let me shut. Let me say no more. I ain't gonna say no more. One day it's gonna fall out. One of these days, that's gonna fall out, and you're gonna find out. Like everything else is a damn scam. You're gonna find out that shit is a scam too. And who been playing that shit more? We play that. You know, our people be playing the hell out of that damn lottery and never seem to win the big money. Oh, they go dangle that one carrot. Look, this one won $2 million. But we talking about them big prizes. When you ever seen? Matter of fact, the one sister that did win, remember she had the boyfriend that kept going to jail, and she was bonding him out, and the police was kept raising the bond to get the money, and they came back home and take the money because she kept bailing him out, right? Because you ain't supposed to be winning the game, right? That's go back in the history. You'll see it in there. So anyway, I think I got one more before I close out on the show. I want to appreciate everybody that came through tonight. Look like that is it. No, is that it? Oh, okay, wait a minute. I think I got it. Let's see. Hold on. I think this is the one I want to show you. Let's see if this is the one. Because I want y'all to see this.
Gather around, grab your tickets. I have mine right here. The winning numbers for the Mega Millions jackpot were drawn Tuesday night. The jackpot, as you've probably heard, was a record for the lottery, an estimated $1.6 billion. Let's see what 6 numbers came down.
Across America with...
I want y'all to pay attention. I want you to pay attention. Watch what I was talking about, the magic trick. Watch it.
Mega Jackpots, it's Mega Millions.
What's up, America? I'm John Crute. It's Tuesday, October 23rd, and tonight...
Oh, you see that? I don't know if you can see good. Look, you don't see no numbers on them balls. Them balls look pretty clean to me. I'm seeing balls dropping, but I ain't seeing no numbers, right?
Tonight's Mega Millions jackpot is a record-breaking $1.6 billion. To win that jackpot, you must have seen...
The dang, 3-card Molly. 3-card Molly, follow the peanut. I ain't seeing no numbers on no balls. Do you see any numbers on the balls? Because I don't see no numbers.
5 white balls plus that gold mega ball. Now, let's see if I can...
I'm starting to see numbers now that they done shift the camera to wherever this is. I don't know if it's in the same spot where he was.
Make you a billionaire tonight. Our first winning number tonight is...
Now don't you? You didn't see no numbers before though.
We have 5. That's followed by 62. And your final white ball for this Tuesday evening is 65. Now for the Mega Ball. That Mega Ball number is 5. Again, tonight's winning numbers are 28, 75, 62, 65, and the gold Mega Ball is 5. Now, if no one matches all 6 numbers, Friday's jackpot could be $2 billion.
That was the drawing of the Mega Millions jackpot, worth an estimated $1.6 billion, the largest jackpot in history. Hopefully your luck was better than mine.
How come you can't see the whole process? Why they had to flip the camera down low? You understand what I'm saying? Some of y'all probably, you crazy as hell, man. You seen them numbers come out there. Look, you go back, rewind the tape. You ain't seeing no numbers on no ball, but when they showed that bottom part and them coming out, you seen numbers. I'm just saying. You ain't tell you to leave it alone. I'm just saying. Again, I showed you what they told you in Wisconsin, how they come up with the number through computer generated. So they already knew the number. They already know this one number is going to be the winning ticket. All right. Don't pay no attention to me. I'm just talking. Yeah, again, I want to tell you, thank everybody for coming out tonight, hanging out with me, talking with me a little bit. No number more's okay. See what fucking hell talking about. I'm a subscriber more in town. Okay, police life is real deep. That police life is a whole different one. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm gonna hit you up, bro. And if you wanna, like I say, I'll give you. You know, if you want to come on here and spit some of that knowledge, you know. I know you can't give everything because I know there's still kind of a, you know, you still you know. I know what you're saying, but I'm just saying I'll be hitting you with shoot you some emails here and back and forth and see if, you know, if we can try make a show based on some of that, because our people be needing to know some of that kind of information. There's some, you got the experience and knowledge and know-how, plus you're more, so you got knowledge for days. You know what I'm saying? And you definitely be appreciated over here. Angela Barron is very sketchy. This is why I don't play. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was just showing it because, again, like I said, I did some stories some while back, and I remember running across that story about that number generator is what they call it. And the dude that you seen in that video that was sitting there talking about, it was more fun with the balls, he actually was stealing money and shit. He won about 3, 4, 5 lotteries in a row in different states, and they caught up to him. So I was like, a lot of times they be doing them drawings. You don't see them do the drawings. They just tell you, wake up the next morning, see on the news, and you see the number, but you don't see the drawing. So this one is 1.6. They showed you, but that's why I had stopped it so that you could see. You didn't see no numbers on them balls. Not until they showed the underneath camera. But when it was in that spinning, you didn't see no numbers in that shit. So I'm just saying that shit fixed. All this shit fixed. You know what I'm saying? The world is a stage, and this is players and actors in this shit. And if I can do the mystery hand on your ass and you don't catch it, then that's good for me. As long as when you catch on to it, then, it might be a little problem. Now, again, I ain't trying to fuck their business, but it is what it is. They put it out there for it to be seen. I seen it, and I just presented it. That's all. But I feel you on that, Angela. I know people who playing, I be like, you just donating. Until you start seeing our people winning some of that big, big money. Again, okay, I have to dangle a little bit of the carrots to make other people entice them. It's kind of like what they do with a Michael Jordan, a Oprah Winfrey. They done destroyed Bill Cosby, right? They was kind of like the carrot before the horse. See, if you do what they did, you could attain what they got. So how many people behind them trying to do what they do, but then, again, you don't know all the ins and outs as what they did to get what they got. And so, you know what I'm saying? This is just, you know what I'm saying? So it's just a lure. It looks like you can obtain that, but I can't get there because it ain't real, So I get what you're saying, Angela, Oh, you want to blow my mind? Okay, well, you blow my mind. And, you know what I'm saying? That's what I be trying to do. I just trying to blow some dust off some minds, That's all I try to do. But you come on with it. You know what I'm saying? Shoot, you'd be surprised. Surprise me. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to hit you up. I'm going to get around to you. And like I said, we have a show, where we can get on here and you can talk about some of that police business, some of the things that your expertise on that knowledge and things that people should know and what they can do. So some of the situations that we've seen early in some of the videos, that ain't happening. But again, you being an insider, you really know that sometimes you could do all the right things and still get, you know what I'm saying? You still get that Pumpkinhead Deluxe, right? You still get that. So I get it. But again, your expertise and your knowledge would be well, especially over here a little bit. Because again, like I said, they got me on the block. I can't get out of this block because again, the way when I'm talking about what I talk, they ain't trying to have that. After I did that video and it went Black Corner viral, 275,000 in the Black Corner is viral for what we do over here, right? And that was done 5 years ago, right? But they stopped it at 275, and then they put that whole, you had to sign in and all that stuff, and then my numbers don't even matter. Matter of fact, just to tell y'all something, they've been holding up my numbers going all the way back to 2013. They still ain't resolved it. I'm going to say, what? 2013, 2015, 2017. They said we're still working on it. So I don't know what my numbers really is. You get what I'm saying? But I know I can't get off this block. You understand? So I'm just saying, just put the video if you're willing to do that. And we talk, and you really, I'll just ask questions, and you just go ahead and do what you do and put the edification for people out here. So if you cool with that, then again, like I said, I hit you up, Falcon L, and again, I appreciate that you even came through tonight, brother. So again, and Angela, I'm thank you, sister, for coming through. You know, and whoever else out here that I didn't see, thank you. And to the next show, you know it is Stay Black. Again, remember tonight's theme was, so y'all just can't see. It is through the process that produces our greatness. See, it's the process that we got to go through. That's what we here for. We just going through the process. We going through, the refinement. So you got to go through that fire and all that and bending and shaping. And it's at the end of it is where the greatness is going to be shown. And that's all. That's all we got. See, I understand more. See, I understand all, what y'all literature is and what y'all belief is and all that. I myself, again, we might have to talk. Like, say, you're going to blow my mind. I don't want to see that, but okay, I'm going to be waiting for that one. So, again, appreciate everybody coming through tonight. Close the show out. If I can find my ending, don't be offended with it more. Just, this is for those, I know what you're saying. But, again, it is what it is. Peace, love, black. Keep it tight. Hair grease.
The following program may be unsuitable for younger or more sensitive viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Remember, the enemy has only images and illusions, behind which he hides his true motives. Destroy the image, and you will break the enemy.
I'm here to tell you tonight that the businessmen, the mayor of this city, the police commissioner of this city, and everybody in the white power structure of this city must take a responsibility for everything. Can you feel it? Can you feel it?
Luther and I and everyone in this arena tonight are unified by the same great American values. We're proud of our country. We respect our flag. Wouldn't you love to see one of these NFL owners, when somebody disrespects our flag, to say, get that son of off the field right now, out, he's fired. He's fired!
Race is when you use your power and influence to subject people into inferiority. Utterances can't be racist.
Look around you, man. They own this shit. They own this couch you sitting on, them shoes you got on your feet, this building, this school, this country, you. We're behind enemy lines, dog.
So you must first of all remember that this system was not originally designed with black people in mind. Right on, and it definitely was not prepared for black people to, in the end, begin to demand their rights and an equal share in this country which they've died for. Right on. Hey, and we definitely are not going back to Africa.
In the church, we used to sing the song, "Good News, the chariot is coming." While you sit here today, knowing that you have come to hear good news, you must realize in advance what good news for you might be bad news for somebody else. What good news for the sheep might be bad news to the world.
They say, oh, things are getting so much better for you. In 1849, it was hitting blacks on the head 100 times a day. In 1990, they hit them 48 times a day. Isn't it better? Oh, it's got to be better. You're saying 52 blows.
The only purpose of most black Americans on earth today is to destroy.
I think that's noble. Italians love Italians. When Irish love Irish. But when a nigga loves a nigga, it's an unpardonable sin. They have blood in their hands. When we say they have blood in their hands, we are not saying him, George Bezos, went and killed. But white people colonized us. They dispersed us. They enslaved our people. They sucked our economy dry. They are still sucking it dry even today. That's white people, Tony Blair, George Bush, Napoleon Bonaparte, Leopold, Adolf Hitler, Benjamin Netanyahu. All white people, they are the same. They are racist and they are full of hate.
I've been waiting for you. You have many questions, and though the process has altered your consciousness, you remain irrevocably human. Ergo, some of my answers you will understand, and some of them you will not. Concordantly, while your first question may be the most pertinent, you may or may not realize it is also the most irrelevant.
Why am I here?
Our world is coming crumbling down. The coons are coming.
You got to understand that white America has an uncanny way of making the victim the victimizer. Excuse me, master, for putting my head in the way of your club. Not that your club is brutalizing my head and putting hickeys on it. My head got in the way of your free swing and broke your shiny stick, and I want to apologize for that.
Your life is the sum of a remainder of an unbalanced equation inherent to the programming of the Matrix. You are the eventuality of an anomaly which, despite my sincerest efforts, I have been unable to eliminate from what is otherwise a harmony of mathematical precision. While it remains a burden assiduously avoided, it is not unexpected and thus not beyond a measure of control, which has led you inexorably here.
There are more connections in the human body than there are stars in the galaxy. We possess a gigantic network of information to which we have almost no access.
Matrix is older than you know. I prefer counting from the emergence of one integral anomaly to the emergence of the next, in which case this is the 6th version.
5 ones before me. 3. There are only 2 possible explanations. There were 5 ones before me. Either no one told me, or no one knows.
Precisely. As you are undoubtedly gathering, the anomaly is systemic, creating fluctuations in even the most simplistic equations.
Control me! I'm gonna smash you to bits! Yeah! Kill you! You can't make me do anything like my trick!
Choice. The problem is choice.
Let us remember that we are not brutalized because we're Baptists. We're not brutalized because we're Methodists. We're not brutalized because we're Muslims. We're not brutalized because we're Catholics. We're brutalized because we are black people in America.
Because white people made him to be what he is. They made him to look evil, because that's their role, to make all of us black people to look evil and to hate ourselves. I can't hate.
You're a nigga till you die. If you're a poor nigga, you're a poor nigga. If you're a rich nigga, you're a rich nigga. But you never stop being a nigga, and if you get to be educated, you're just an educated nigga.
Well, I'm told every day I'm on air that I'm racist because I call out racism. That is maddening to me, and I'm crying about it because it's crazy.
So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is teaching you and I and trying to tell the white man to get this powder keg out of his house. Let the black man separate from his house. Let the black man have his own house. Let the black man have his own land and his own property.
I thought the bitch was white! Damn it! I thought the bitch was white!
That's true.
I think that white people are so guilty, knowing what they've done to black people, that they feel if the deeds were reversed, they would hate the black man if he had done the same thing to them. So it's actually, it reflects a guilt complex on the part of whites when they ask us, do we hate them? And if you notice, Uncle Sam has formed a habit of going all over the world. He calls it the ugly American or the American image. He thinks that everybody hates him because it's a guilt complex. And if you think that if you are worried about Europeans hating you, and they're your allies and your cousins, well, naturally it would follow for you to think that Negroes in this country would hate you, especially in light of what has been done to black people in this country by white people.
Now, check it out. The white ball dominates everything, right? It knocks the shit out the yellow ball, the red ball, right? And the game's over when the white ball drives the black ball completely off the table.
But you have to see that all of this is hypocrisy.
I love Malcolm. Malcolm called me
Sunday that he died, I was working Basin Street East. He said, Brother Greg, you coming by today? And I said, Malcolm, I love you. And I said, I love you so much, I don't even want to take a chance to be there. He said, what do you mean, Brother Greg? I said, well, I close tonight, Sunday night at Basin Street East. And I said, but I had my wife book me a flight into Chicago at 8 o'clock this morning. And I'm going to Chicago, and I had way beneath my salary, booked me into a college about 10 miles from the airport. And I'm gonna go there and speak this afternoon, and I'm gonna stay there until they tell me you dead. Because I'm not gonna let this government get two of us for the price of one. And I'm gonna call Adam Clayton Powell when I finish talking to you and beg him not to come there. Because today, the United States government gonna get you.